Welcome back to Painted Kids. This is Jessica, and today we're going to be drawing Link from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, because we're going to be drawing this specific Link, he's going to be in a specific tunic and have a certain look, but if you have a favorite Legend of Zelda like Twilight Princess or Ocarina of Time, you can of course make your Link look like any of them. Now today what you're going to need is a piece of paper, pencil, marker, and colored pencils, or crayons or markers or whatever you feel like using. Today I'm going to be painting my Link digitally in my Photoshop program. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is just draw the bottom of our Link's head, and that's just a nice curved line. And we're not going to bring it all the way up, we're just going to bring it about halfway because we're going to be adding ears and hair later. And then once we're done with his face, we're actually going to be going and doing his bang. So this line across here, you just swoop it across. We're going to take it right off the top of that curved line of his head. And then we're going to do a diagonal line down about halfway, and then straight line and swoop around and up. And that makes his sideburn. So we have his bang, and then we have where his sideburn is. And off of the sideburn here, we're going to make a nice leaf shape, and that's going to create Link's ear. And then I'm just going to do a line at the very top to show the top of where his ear is. Okay, and then we're just going to kind of do a line swooped in, and then from the back of his head, we're going to do kind of a curved line off of his ear, and then a straight line, and that's the back of his head. And then we're just going to curve up and over, and then bring it up and then in, and that's going to make another little spiky piece of his hair. And then we're going to bring it down and in and make the third one, and there's his hair. And then we're going to do two lines for his neck, and then we're going to go and make a horizontal line for his shoulder, and then two slanted lines next to each other connected with a curve, and that's going to make his sleeve of his tunic. And for his arm, we're just doing two curved lines next to each other because he's a little character. He's not an exact replica of the Link from the game. And then a straight line down, and then we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. So to a diagonal line, a curve, and then two curved lines for his arm. And then a straight line to show the front of his body and where his tunic is. So we don't have to do that second line for the sleeve because his sleeve is tucked behind that part of his body. And then we're going to do two slanted lines, and that's going to be the belt that holds his sword. And then we're going to go down, over, and down again, and then a straight line across, and that's the front of opening of his tunic. And then a curved line for his hand, and then three lines just to kind of show like where his fingers would be. And then we're going to do a curved line to connect the two horizontal lines. So that's the very bottom of his tunic. And then two horizontal lines across. They're going to be right next to each other, and that's his belt. And then we're going to do an angled one, a really skinny one, for the other belt that holds his sword up. He has a lot of belts in Breath of the Wild. And now we're going to be doing his leg here, and it's just going to be curved, and then we're going to do another curved line on the other side. And his foot's kind of facing forward, so we're going to curve at the bottom, and then we're going to curve over the top like this. So it's almost like an oval shape to show the front of his boot. And then his boots kind of fold over, so we're going to do a curved line here. We're going to go out over and then down and around again, and it shows that decorative flap. Now for his other foot, we're doing the same thing. So we have two curved lines, but his foot's facing outward, so we're going to go up and then down and then around and kind of show the flatter part of his foot. But we're going to do a curved line for the top of his boot, but we're going to go over, down, and then over again because it's a side angle of his boot. And then we're just adding the buckles onto his belts that he has, but we're only adding two buckles there. And then a curved line to where his elbow would be, and that's the wraps that he has on his forearms. So what we're going to do once we have that is we're just going to put a couple other diagonal lines just to make it look like it's fabric wrapped around his forearm. So now I'm going to just add some little designs on his tunic. I'm not making them exactly how they are on his tunic in the video game. It's very detailed and intricate, but I just want to keep it simple. So I'm just doing a couple rectangles and some long thin lines And I'm just gonna put a little detail around the opening of his tunic there, and I'm just gonna kind of curve in and out around that opening there. And I'm just making super small shapes so that way I can go in later with my really small marker and outline those. And now I'm just doing his other sideburn that's on the other side of his head there, so just down and around. And then I'm going to be making his sword that's strapped to his back. So a half circle, 2 lines next to each other at an angle, and then a straight line and an angle to show the hilt. And then I'm just guessing where it would go from behind his back, so 2 straight lines next to each other with a point. And then I'm just outlining that point again to make it look like the tip of a sword. And now I'm going to be doing his eyes, so I just do 2 circles. And his other eye is going to be kind of tucked behind his bangs, so you just really do only a half circle. And then I'm going to add a line for his eyebrow. And then I'm going to add a little triangle for his nose, and then just a nice simple mouth, so a little smile there. And then I'm just going to add a circle in to show where his pupil is. And then I'm just going to add an even smaller circle just to show where the highlight is. And again, in the other eye, it's just going to be tucked behind his bangs there. So now I'm going to be drawing his ponytail in the back. So I'm going to bring it down, up, in, around, and back in, and then out, and then in again. And just to make his little ponytail back there. And if you don't want to make it like that, if you just want to make it straighter, you can. And there you go, there is your completed link. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our marker and we're going to outline this character with black marker. And then for the smaller details, like the little detailed designs on his tunic and his nose and his mouth, I'm going to be using a finer point marker, but you can do it any way that you want to do it. And again, if you want to design your link to look like the link from Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess, you know, so you can add a hat or, you know, make his tunic or his gear look any way that you want. It's completely up to you. Now, if we're going a little fast, you can always pause and rewind and really make sure that you get all the details that we went through. All right, now that you're completely done sharpening our link, all you have to do now is color him in. And I'm going to color mine in digitally, so I'm going to drop this guy into Photoshop. And here is our completed link. So I used a nice light blue color for his tunic just to go along with the Breath of the Wild. But again, if you want to make a darker blue or red or green or whatever color you want, you go right ahead. This is your link. You make the choices. And for his hair, you know, just the classic golden look. And then I've used a bunch of different browns for his belts and then also his. So if you guys liked what you saw here today, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. You know, this channel is all about you guys. Now, before we go, we want to give a quick shout out to Avery. Thanks so much for following along with us, Avery. Your Rex Danger Vest looks awesome. Now, if you would like to have a chance like Avery to be featured on one of our next videos, go ahead and submit any of your drawings that you did on any of our social media platforms. So go ahead and follow the link in the description below and show off your creativity. And if you have somebody that likes Link but isn't quite ready to draw along on their own, go ahead and visit our Patreon account and you can download your very own coloring page of Link. And we will keep the link to Link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time.